Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. So this is a Sims video, but it's not the Dream House series. It's something a little bit different. So you guys know that I use a lot of modded content in my game. I have literally so much stuff in there, and I think custom content makes the game so enjoyable. There's so much more to choose from. Obviously, when the guys make the game, they're limited in what they can create because it has to be able to work on all systems and all computers, but custom content doesn't have that restriction. So you can get all kinds of crazy stuff, all kinds of crazy skins and hairstyles and stuff for your house, and basically make your game look amazing. There's people that also create script mode, which actually changes the way that the game works on a very kind of little level, whether it's changing the aging, changing the way the careers work. I don't really have any script mods in my game. I've used them in previous games like The Sims 3. I actually had one that made the game harder, believe it or not, but I don't really have that many in my Sims 4. However, something I've done for you guys, and you can check it out in the link in the description below, is all the mods that I have in my game. I have actually uploaded into a WeTransfer folder that I keep updating. As I keep updating my own mods, I download new mods every time I play for you guys, so that you guys can get your game looking the same way that mine does. All the stuff that I've got in my house, all the hairstyles, all the eyes, all the everything I have, I've uploaded into that folder, so you guys can just download that folder, add that to your Sims file, and then your game will look like mine and you'll have all the same content as mine. But a few of you guys have tweeted me. If you guys don't know, I'm on Twitter at Clare, and you've said that you have issues, you don't really understand how to add mods to the game, you don't understand where you should be putting the folders. So this cheeky little guide is here to help you guys get all the custom content into your Sims game, and I'm also going to show you some of the little tips and tricks that I use in-game just to make things look a little bit cooler. So you guys, you see me doing the little cheats in game. Here I'm going to actually explain what I'm doing and how you guys can do it too. So if this video is helpful for you, please drop it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below if there's anything else that you want to know, or any little tips or tricks or anything I've done in game that you don't really understand and you want a little bit more help with. Similarly, if you find cool custom content, you guys should definitely tweet me and I'll add it to my game. Some of you guys are doing that already, so thank you so much. But let's show you guys how to make some mods. So I thought the first thing I would do is start by finding a mod that I actually wanted to download and kind of doing it right from the very beginning. So one of my favorite mods that I've downloaded is the eyelash mod. So here is how it actually looks. It gives your Sims 3D eyelashes, which the base model doesn't actually have. They have the lines of the eyelashes. Obviously got Jess inspired hair today, little Jessie now that she's a child, but they don't have actual 3D individual lashes, and it kind of gives them a very, very cartoony look. But there is a mod that gives you a whole variation of different eyelashes you can add to them, more big fluttery eyelashes or kind of smaller little eyelashes for guys, different colors, and it's one of my favorite mods. All my Sims have it on, and this, if you've downloaded my custom content, you will already have this. I think it's as an accessory for eyes, like glasses. That's what you would use in-game to find the little cheeky mod. However, I noticed that my toddlers and my children did not have it. I could add it to James when he became a teenager, but I couldn't add it to him when he was a child, and I also couldn't add it to Jessie. So, a little bit of looking online, and here is what I found. This is 3D Lashes version 2. Version 2 is the one you should be using, but for kids. How much cuter are they gonna look with these pretty, pretty little eyelashes? So, first things first, I've clicked download on both of these to download them. I've got one for kids and one for toddlers, and now I'm going to show you how I would then put them in game. So once your mods have downloaded, they will obviously be in your downloads folder. As you can see, my downloads folder is pretty much just Sim stuff, and you will either get an individual package file like this, or you will get a zip folder like this. Now the package file is the actual mod itself, but in this case I've got two zip folders for these two different eyelashes. One is the version for kids and one is the version for toddlers. So you've got your files downloaded, but obviously where are you going to put those mods? You should already have Sims 4 installed to get this, and if you go to your documents folder, now I actually install my Sims game onto a different hard drive than the one that my OS is on, but it will always be in your OS folder. So wherever your regular documents folders in, that's where this folder should be, and it's your electronic arts folder, obviously the one that you've got your Sims in, and then inside there the Sims 4, and then if there isn't already a folder called mods, I believe you can just make a folder called mods. The game knows to look for that folder when it boots, and if it finds it, then it will boot that mods folder. So you can create it if you don't have it. However, in previous games I've had to create it, but with The Sims 4, I believe it was already there. So it should already be there. And obviously if you've just downloaded it, it will be completely empty. But if not, if it's anything like mine, it's gonna have all these beautiful mods in it. I actually think, how many have I got right now? 741 mods. That's more than I would run on Skyrim. Obviously, all of these are much smaller individual little mods, but that is a lot of mods to install in one game. So here is where my mods need to go. You can see like all my kitchen stuff there, like a lot of home stuff, and then loads of like hair, loads of clothes, just basically loads and loads of stuff. You can see where I've been a little bit like messy there. These little guys here shouldn't be there, but we'll ignore those for now. So here's all our little cheeky package files. So here is our Eyelashes kids. So what I will do is, you can either use the extraction tool, or on Windows 10, I think you can just literally just drag it straight in there and copy that into mods. If I organize this folder by date modified, I can check. Perfect, that has gone in there. And then the toddler version, you're gonna drag it in there as well. That is literally all you need to do to add your mods to your mods folder. So those mods should be booted by the game now. However, if it's the first time you've used mods, they're not just gonna magically appear in the game. There is another step. So we're gonna test these two little cheeky mods and check that they've worked. And I'm gonna show you the step that you need to do to make sure your custom content is appearing in The Sims. As for where I get most of my mods, I actually use the Sims resource for most of the stuff I get. I just check by the featured every day. If I'm looking for something in particular, I find this site super useful. One thing to note is, if you are like me and you use a lot of tabs, if you try and download stuff in like 5 or 6 different tabs, it's not gonna work. You will have to download it, wait for it to download, then go to the next tab, download that one and do them individually. Or you can just open them in 2 different windows and then you can download 2 at once. So this is the main one that I use, and it's really good as well because you can download entire sets, or you can download individual items from sets. And if you find someone that's got a really cool look and you really like how they look and you look in the description, they'll often link out to other like Tumblr websites and all that kind of thing where people have created mods. They may not be on place at the Sim resource, but they'll be on their individual Tumblr pages. So look out for that as well. Also, a lot of you guys have linked me to stuff on the Sims 4 Nexus, so that's a really good site to pick stuff up as well. And also, there's a Nexus mods, which I primarily use for Skyrim. I've never used it for mods, but I was amazed to find there's actually a whole Sims 4 community on Nexus mods as well. So loads of places to find loads of cool mods for your Sims. Like, look how realistic this looks. Look how pretty and realistic that looks. But what we're gonna do now is boot the Sims, check that our mod has worked, and also make sure that we've got mods switched on. So here's what you're used to seeing when you watch me play the Sims series, guys. This is kind of like your Sims login page where you first boot the game. One of the first things you want to do if it's your first ever time using mods is go straight to game options and then go to other, and make sure this little cheeky setting here has been ticked. This will enable all your mods in the game, all your custom content, or CC as it's often referred to, and your mods will only show if you tick this. If you want to put script mods on as well, the ones that I mentioned before, then you want to be ticking this as well. And what you can do is view your custom content. This will actually show up startup unless you can change the option. It was popping up all the time for me, so I just got rid of it, but it's a really nice way to see all the mods and make sure that everything is booting there. So here is all the mods that I've added to the game, and it's good because you can just, if this pops up, you know that all your mods are in game, everything's booted correctly, and you should be able to play with mods. So once this little cheeky one here is ticked, then you can go back to your game, and everything should be in there. And what the game is quite smart at doing, and you probably see me do this all the time, you can actually choose to filter to just see custom content when you're making Sims, when you are choosing what clothes you want to put on, when you are choosing what to put in your house. You can just filter to that specific custom content, which is really handy because the custom content in most cases looks a lot better. It looks a lot more realistic, and if that's what you're going for and that's all you want to see, then you can filter everything else out and just have a super custom content Sims experience. So here we are in Ali and Claire's dream house. There's poor little Jess on the toilet looking very sad. This is exactly how I left the game when I recorded the last episode for you guys. And literally so much of the stuff on this bottom floor is custom content. More that I've got is custom content than isn't. Like literally, it's fully covered in it. So what we wanted to check was the custom content for little Jess. And I could just do that by getting her to go in front of a mirror and by changing her appearance. But there's a much more powerful way to edit Sims. And that's in Create a Sim, or CAS. C-A-S as it's often referred to. Now you can't just enter CAS mode usually when you're playing game. You can only enter CAS when you are making a Sim for the first time. After that, you can only really change your hair, your hairstyle, your makeup. You can't change your actual face. However, if you've seen me play the game, once the Sims age up, I do go in and change things. I'll change their eyebrows, mess around with their eyes, make sure that they're looking right. We also changed Ali's build because we may have accidentally made him a little bit chubbier than we meant to, and he wasn't too happy about that. So cast is super, super handy, but you can't just naturally go into cast. We will have to do a little bit of cheating first. So these are some of the tips that I'm going to be showing you. I'll show you a few more for around the house after we've dealt with this mod section. But to show you this mod, I'm going to show you the starting bit for your little cheats tool. So the first thing you want to be doing is turning cheats on. This is something you've had to do in a lot of Sims games. So if you've played The Sims for a while, you're probably like, well, duh. But if it's your first time on The Sims, you probably wouldn't know all this stuff. So the first thing you want to be doing is a testing cheats enabled mod. Testing cheats true. You'll get a little pop-up straight away that says cheats are enabled, so you'll know this works. I find that if I do this at the beginning of the episode and then come back to try and use cast at the end of the episode, it seems to almost time out. So I would, if you want to do cast towards the end of like when you're playing, just make sure you pop that in again, because otherwise you won't be able to enter cast, or at least I have found that. But I tend to play for big chunks of time. So what we want to be doing specifically is going back into that create a sim mode. So the cheat that we want to be using is cast, create a sim, full edit mode, which lets us change everything, and then on. And what we can do now is if I right hand click Jess, I get these additional little options. So I could actually make her into a plant sim if I wanted to. I could reset her, so if she's bugged out, if she's trapped somewhere, if she's looping the same action over and over again. It's a really good little way to just reset her. I can basically just like clear her marriages. I don't think I can create marriages since she's a little kid. I can cheat if I'm playing the bowling. I can cheat some of her needs so that I can make everything super happy or everything really bad. Basically, I don't do any of this stuff when I'm playing with you guys. The only thing I ever do is go modify and cast. So that is what we're going to be clicking. So to hide this little menu again, and I realized I didn't actually make this very clear, it's Shift, Control, and C. Shift, Control, C brings it up and gets rid of it again. So when we go into here, you can see we can literally change everything about Jess, which you definitely can't do if you're just looking in a mirror. I can change her name, I can change her age, I could make her an elder if I wanted to, but we're not going to be doing that, guys. We're not going to be doing that. So back to just little Jess. And what we specifically want to do is have a look at that little eyelash cheat. So the eyelash one is actually stored on accessories, and then it's in the same place as glasses. It's a bit of a weird place for it to be stored. I often forget where it is and just like look through eyes for ages. It's not stored there, it's stored here. Before, this didn't even show because we couldn't add eyelashes to children or to toddlers because I did not have a mod to do that. I only had it for adult. So for the first time, little Jess will actually have eyelashes. She will be able to filter out dirt and grain, which she could never do before, and she will also look super pretty. So as you can see, there's a lot of different eyelashes that we can choose from. I'll tell you what, just to make this a little bit easier to see, we're gonna bold Jess. We're gonna bold Jess for just a moment so we can see all the different eyelashes that are available, which is good because, as I said, the boys ones you probably want to be a little bit fairer, but the girls ones you kind of want to be big and beautiful. You can choose to just have them on the bottom. You can choose like these sort of fairer ones. These are the ones I usually use on boy Sims, or you can choose a little mixture of both. So if you want kind of big eyelashes on top but then more gentle eyelashes below, you can do that, which actually makes sense for a kid because these ones kind of look like mascara, whereas kids, you don't want to be putting mascara on them. You just kind of want to be putting some pretty little eyelashes on. And what's really cool about these eyelashes, if I go into detail edit mode, you can see that they're actually fully 3D. They're not just painted on, they're not on makeup, they're actual 3D lashes, which I think is really, really cool. So there we go. Little Jess has her eyelashes. We know that that mod has worked, which is super. I'm just going to give her her hair back. I'm not gonna lie, she's kind of freaking me out without her. And there we go, the mod has worked. Jess has little eyelashes. And the little filter that I was talking about before, you just click on the little arrow, go to content and go to custom content only. And then the only bits you're seeing are the new hairs that you've added to the game. I actually have some quite pretty hairs. This one's like really nice and cute. I showed some of you guys these hairs. We quite like the long hair one, but in the end, we did give Jessie her little pigtails. And clearly they inspired me because I've got them in today as well. And it is as simple as that. That's how easy it is to add mods to the game. I will always be dropping a link to my mods folder in my video. If it ever expires, let me know. I'll keep it updated as I add new mods. and it's basically just a huge zip folder. It may take a little while to fully zip out because it's pretty big. I have a lot of mods now, but as long as you have anything that can zip things, if you have Windows 10, I think it's built in, super easy to use. You just need to unzip that whole folder into your Sims 4 mods folder, into your documents, as I showed you earlier today, and that's it. That's literally all you need to do. And obviously you can add all your own mods as well. Just because I've given you that selection doesn't mean you have to stick to it. If there's any you don't like, you can delete them. And if you want to add your own, you can do that as well. So that's the little mods bit aside. I said to you guys I would show you some of the other little tricks I do in game, so we'll get onto that now. So the other cheat that I use a lot is the move objects cheat. It's really good for build mode and buy mode because it lets you move objects around in a much more flexible manner. So you're not as confined to these grids. Obviously when you move stuff in Sims, it's trying to get attached to those grids. And so it pops around a little bit. You can't put it, like I can't squeeze this plant into that corner. I can only put it within this little bit here. One little cheeky thing you can do without having to do any cheats is you can hold down Alt as you're placing things. And as you can see, I get a lot more movement. I can move around smoothly in a square instead of all rigidly. I can do this sort of nice little smooth movement. But what I can't do, I still can't force that plant to go into that corner there. So here is a cool way to make sure you can do that. Again, we're pressing Control Shift and C to bring up that cheeky little cheat box at the top, and then we're typing BB, move objects on. I can't type apparently. There we go. Move objects cheat is on. It's letting us know that. Hide that little menu again. And then all of a sudden, oh, what's that? I can put this plant wherever I want. I can put it through the stairs if I want. I can kind of like push it right into that corner if I want to do that as well. I just basically get so much more movement. Also means I can move things out from under people as well. He's kind of, oh, getting out of the way there. That's a good thing to know. If you move stuff out from under people, the sim will like react and get out the way. So they'll move out the way. You're not going to accidentally trap people like you did do in previous games. And I use this cheat absolutely everywhere, all the time. Like literally everything you see in this house, I have placed with the move objects cheat. That's how, for example, if you look on these shelves, I've packed so many things on there. It's how I've got everything on this little desk here. It's a really good way just to kind of push stuff around and make sure you're getting your house nice and packed. Because I always find the more things you add to a house, the more like it looks like a real house. The move objects cheat is just going to give you so much more room. Like instead of having to place that piano all the way out here, I can, with a little bit of squeezing around, because this is technically a foundation, I can push it right into the corner there. And I just think it makes things look a lot better. You can fit more clutter in. I used it a lot on these shelves here, so you can see they're kind of crossing over each other. But I wanted the little exposed brickwork here. I wanted to make these two merge in together. The game naturally would be really awkward about doing that, but with this move objects cheat on, I can just kind of fit them in really nice and cozily there. And the same with these shelves here. The game is like, no, I want to put them here. What are you doing? If you use that cheat, you can kind of just slide them into position like this. One thing you're going to have to look out for, and it happens a few times in my house actually, is that you're going to get a little bit of overhang here. So I didn't notice this because the wardrobes were there before, but this actually should move over a little bit. It's coming into the house a bit there. Just keeping the Alt button held down, and with that BB move objects, I can just shift things around a little bit. I think I also have some plants kind of poking through here, but I can kind of just pull them back a little bit until I feel like they're not poking in so much anymore. There we go. There's one blade of grass, but I'm prepared to allow that. And then the other thing that's really, really useful, there's two things actually. One is using your 9 and 0 keys to move things up or down in space. And I accidentally used both of these cheats, well, kind of accidentally, on a baby in an episode, which is how I created that giant baby in the sky. So, first of all, I'm going to show you the 9 and 0. So 9 will push your object up and make it kind of float like this. This ball is kind of floating around the room now. And 0 will push it back down to the ground again. And you can kind of, you can go pretty high. Like this ball's just taking off and it's going into space. Okay, so that's how high you can get it. It's almost 2 stories because I have my walls set to like super high height. So there you go. So this is handy. Say like if I want to put the ball at the end of his bed, I press 9 and get it to float in the air. And then suddenly I can kind of, like I'm using Alt to get the placement right. I can kind of put the ball on the bed. It's floating a little bit there, so I'll just press 0, bring it down a tiny bit. And there we go. He now has a football at the end of his bed. I'm not quite sure why you want to do that, but you could do that. So I'm just going to pop it back on there. Or you could do it with his school bag. So it looks like he's kind of dumped his school bag at the end of his bed. He'll still be able to use the bed. You might get a little bit of clipping. But it's just like a nice little extra way to move stuff around, have a lot more freedom. Maybe he's put his school bag at the end of it in between his pillows. And I used it a lot actually. If we go downstairs, I used it to get some of the objects on here because some of them just weren't sitting on properly. They just wanted to drop through to the floor. So I was actually, to get the placement right, I was using those 0s and 9s just to move them around and make sure that I could get them on this side table looking pretty beautiful. And then actually, to go back to the plant that I showed you earlier, here is another cheat that I use. So if you grab the plant, and if you use your brackets at the side, the right bracket will actually make things bigger. This is how you make a giant baby, guys. So you can get things pretty big. Like, look at this plant. The plant is now bigger than the house. I mean, it's getting pretty big, guys. I can keep pressing this. I think we're almost, yeah, that's as big as we can go. And I can actually just, I can just put that outside there. So I could have this huge, scary, like, imposing plant. Oh, there he is, there he is. So you can arrive at our house and just be like, oh my gosh, what is that? What is that scary, scary plant? But obviously we're not gonna do that. So let's just shrink the plant back down again, guys. So you can make things bigger. One thing you can't do is make things extra teeny tiny, but you can make things bigger, which is quite cool because you may have seen this plant and thought, I don't have that plant in my game, or it looks different. This plant's natural size is actually this. It's literally meant to be just a little plant that you put on the edge of your table, but I loved it and I thought it would look great in this room. So I bumped it up 2 sizes, I think I went in the end. Yeah, so we got to about this size. Use my little shift cheat to get it into the corner there. Use my alt cheat rather to get it into the corner there. And we ended up with this rather cool little big vase in the hallway here. I use this a lot in the house. Like you can see upstairs, we have this slightly off-center chandelier. Not meant to be that size at all. I think this chandelier is pretty, like, it's a lot smaller. There we go. Like this little tiny thing, which obviously it's not gonna look that amazing in that hallway. So I replaced it for this much bigger, cool sort of chandelier like this. I actually wanted to move that over one, but it just drops whenever I try and move it. So it has to stay there as it is. And I've used that almost everywhere in this house just to kind of make things look a little bit different to the norm, make things a little bit prettier. This tree might even be a victim of it. Oh no, the tree's good, the tree's the right size. But basically using all those little tricks and treats together, you can make your house look pretty cool. Like these have dropped. So for example, these little leaves here, I want to make them look like they're hanging off the edge of the lights. I use that 9 cheat to get them up nice and high, like this. And then just make sure they're in position with the old alt key, because they've gone back a little bit there. Let's get you up again. There you go. There you go, buddy. And then we can just pop it so it's hanging off the edge of the lights. I have no idea why they've dropped, but there you go. That's a little like combo of using the 2 cheats together and just create this nice little kind of hanging canopy area. So there we go. That's how to download mods, where to download them to, how to make sure that they're switched on in your game and make sure that you can see them, how to filter them, and then some of the cool little cheats, hello new follower, and then some of the cool little cheats I use both to edit my Sims during my gameplay and also make sure that I'm doing all these little tweaks to make my house look as cool as I possibly can. Hopefully this was super useful for you guys. I actually got a lot of these tips from a guy called The Sim Supply, so I will leave his link in the description below. He does these in a lot more detail. Make sure you check out his channel so you can see all the extra stuff that he's doing because he taught me so much about the game. And I hope this video was useful for you guys and you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a little thumbs up and let me know any cool custom content you find in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next Sims video. Bye!